Hello and welcome to this crafting video. I'm Anthony. Now I'm really excited about this one because I'm going to be making a silicone mould. Now all of you who follow me on social media will know I absolutely adore using silicone moulds in my crafting projects. They give great detail, but what's more, they give dimension to your project as well. So I'm not going to be making things easy for myself because I want to cast something, it's quite big. I love this detail in this face, and it's of Alexander the Great. I picked it up about 25 years ago in Cyprus. So that's what I'm going to be casting, but rather than lying it down here and pouring the silicone over, I'm actually going to do it in reverse because I only want the face. So basically I'm going to fill a bath with silicone and then I'm going to pop that inside. It's going to be quite interesting. So in my search for silicone products, I went on to Amazon and I found these two products here. So it is a kit, it's a trial size, hence the tiny bottles. With this, I'm hopefully going to make a really good cast of Alexander the Great's head. If you like the contents of this video, please click on the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and why not click on that notifications button as well. This will allow you to be notified of all brand new content that I upload to my YouTube channel. Right, without further ado, let's jump in and see what we can do with these two items and Alexander the Great's head. So before mixing any of the silicone up, what we need to do is to make a bath for our silicone to actually go in. So what I've used here is a container from an old takeaway. Okay, so I've just cut out a section just there, okay, and that is basically so the head or the neck area will actually sit into there and it will dip the head into the bath, because as I said, we're not going to do it conventionally. So normally you would actually lay the item you want and then pour the silicone over, but I'm actually wanting it in reverse because I only want to do this part of the face. So what I've had to do is create a wooden jig. So I found an old piece of wood in my garage. Okay, so the bath is going to sit like that, and then the head is going to slot into there, and everything is hopefully going to be supported nicely, so you can sort of see how that is going to work. Okay, so when it's up like that, like I say, I would pour the silicone into this and we will see what happens. So I'm going to first of all see how much of the silicone I actually need to mix up. So the way I'm going to do that is to position everything on the jig as it is, and then I'm going to pour water actually inside the container. So I'm just going to hold everything in place just by hand. I have got some cable ties, that's before I actually do it. So first of all, I'm just going to pour in the water. This will give us the exact volume or thereabouts of how much silicone we are going to need to actually pop into this. So let's have a look. So I'm just going to look at the side. Okay, and I think I'm just going to go for a little bit more, but it looks like it's probably going to be near enough all of what was in the jar. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to tip away what water I had in there, and then we will be able to calculate the exact volume that's in there. So I've just emptied out the water, and now I'm just going to take the head out. Okay, let's just place that aside, and I'm just going to tip the water back in to my measuring container here, and then that will tell us exactly how much of the silicone we actually need to do. So what it's actually saying on the side here, it is about 450 millilitres. Okay, so 450 millilitres. So what I've done here, I've just added some double-sided tape to my wooden jig. So let's just take the backing off, and I'm just going to place that onto there. So the double-sided tape will just basically stop everything from moving. So I'm just going to finally adjust that, so basically the head fits on there. Okay, and everything is good. Let's just press that down. So we're going to get no movement whatsoever. Let's just take that off and really press that down. So everything has got to be secure once the silicone is actually curing. So that's in place. I'm now going to grab some cable ties and we're going to pop the head in upside down. So let's just pay a little bit of attention to the actual silicone itself. So like I say, this is one that I purchased off Amazon myself. So you've got part A and part B. You're also going to get a little QR code there, so that's the manual if you want to use that. And you've also got some written instructions here. So just take that out. You've got a little tool there, not too sure what that's about. And then by the looks of it, let's have a look. Could these be some gloves? Let's have a look. I'm not sure what they actually are. Let's have a look. Okay, so yep, you've got some gloves there as well. So you get 3 packs. Okay, so let's have a look at the instructions. Always a good idea. And let's have a look. Roughly calculate the volume. Or we've done that. We've done it exactly. Prepare a well-sealed mould box. Well, we've used a tray. Glue the project at the middle of the box. This is where we're doing it all upside down. Stirring sticks. Yep, we've got some of those as well. We've got 3 of those in the pack. And then it says step 1. Fetch same volume of A and B with measuring cup and pour into the mixing cup. Stir around, okay. And then it says slowly pour. You know, what can possibly go wrong? Let's dive in and investigate. So the jar is completely dry and we'll just add in the 2 parts of the silicone. So you can see they've got a really good seal on. Okay, and it's also got a foil seal on there. Maybe that's what that tool is for. Let's just get rid of that bit to actually get inside there. Okay, let's have a look. It doesn't actually say what that tool is for, but maybe it's for cutting it open, who knows. Right, let's just open that one. So as the overall total was 450, I think we said. Okay, we need to basically do 225. So this is part A. 225. I'm not going to have a hard end left, that's for sure. 225. Okay, that is there. We may as well mix it all in by the looks of it, because let's have a look. Okay, let's just, so that is part A. Okay, this is part B. There is a little bit left in there, but if I overdo it, then we may not actually, or we may actually have too much and it may spill out. So let's just take that one there, and again we'll pop this one up to the 450 mark. Okay, just pour that one in. There is an awful lot of silicone to actually mix here, that's for sure. Okay, there we go. So I'm just going to reseal those 2. Okay, I'm just going to now apply some of the gloves that actually came with it. Okay, and at the moment you can quite clearly see from the side that the 2 different parts, part A and B, do need mixing together. Okay, so let's just move everything out of the way, and we've got these sticks here, so I'm just going to mix away there and make sure that everything is mixed in nicely. Okay, so I'm going to do that for about a minute. So you just really want to make sure that the parts A and part B are really mixed in nicely. Okay, so again I'm scraping the walls there just to make sure that that's really mixed in well. So the thickness of, or the flexibility, should I say, of this silicone is Shore 20. Now I've had to Google what Shore actually means, but basically the higher the number, the less flexible the silicone is. So I've just gone for like a middle of the road one, just literally to try it out. Okay, so just give that a really good mix still. And you can see it's quite a thin silicone. Okay, so it should be nice and easy to pour. Okay, well I don't think I can mix that anymore, so let's just take that off our little mixing spatula there. Okay, and now we're going to bring back in the jig. So obviously make sure that everything is nice and dry in there. Okay, because everything has got to be just right. Okay, so we're going to now pour this in. So let's just place that over there, and we're going to pour that in very slowly. Okay, and because it is really a nice sort of like thin silicone, although I've never used silicone before like this, hopefully that's going to fill in all of the detail within the face there, and we should hopefully be left with a really beautiful impression of Alexander the Great. So I'm just going to again slowly just pour that in. Okay, all the way up there. So we know, because we did the water thing at the beginning, we know exactly how much silicone we actually need in there. So that's really quite a handy way of knowing how much of the silicone to actually mix up. So let's just pour what's left in there. Okay, and then when you're happy with that, there's a little bit in there, let's just keep on pouring that. Okay, there we go. So this silicone says it's self-degassing, so normally you get lots of bubbles, and I'll be honest with you, let's just take a look at the side and I'll see if I can actually see any. Well, I can't see any. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to lift up the jig and I'm just going to drop it a couple of times, okay, just to make sure if there are any air bubbles trapped underneath the head there, they should come out. Okay, so just going to tap that. So I can actually see a couple of little bubbles just coming to the surface there, so just tap it a couple more times. Okay, and now we're just going to leave that. Okay, and it's saying that basically you can remove it after 5 hours. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to leave that overnight, and then we'll come back to it in the morning and see if we can actually demold Alexander the Great's head. So the moment of the truth has arrived. So you can see, yep, it's definitely set in there. And I did check after about 3 to 4 hours, and the silicone had set, but I still left it in there just in case. Right, so let's take all this apart, or well, that could be the plan. So I'm just going to take off the cable ties there. Okay, we can just remove the entire base. Remember, we stuck that on with double-sided tape, so I've got to be quite forceful here. There it comes, there we go. Okay, so we've taken that off. So I'm just going to place that on the desk. I'm just going to remove what double-sided tape I can off the back there, just so it doesn't stick to the desk when we try to get the rest off. Okay, that'll probably be enough. Right, so now how do we actually get this out of here? Right, so I'm going to use a pair of scissors. I'm just going to cut down, hopefully. Wow, that's coming out really nice and easily. So obviously I can't save our plastic packaging there. Okay, so we're just going to take that off. That's actually released a lot easier than I thought it would. Okay, so we're just going to need to go round there. There we go. So just ease it off. So there we can see our head just showing through there of Alexander the Great. So I'm just going to place that on the desk again, just get rid of all these sharp plastic bits. But now comes the ultimate well, hopefully result, I've got to take our silicone off of the head. So I'm just going to grip that, and I'm just going to go around really carefully. Wow, I am absolutely amazed again how easy that has released. There we go, let's have a look. Okay, well, I think by the looks of it I have got an air bubble, and it looks as though it's in that part of the eye. You can just about see that, but I should be able to still use that mould. I've got a couple of little bubbles up here, but like I said, it could well have been because basically that I did everything in reverse. Maybe if I had done it like that, then it may have worked better, but I think because there was no way of sort of like packing it out, so basically only the head would be revealed, hence I did it sort of like upside down. But do you know what, all in all, that is a pretty good result, and as you can see, the mould is still very flexible and also extremely thick. So the actual measurement there, let me just get a ruler. Okay, we are talking a mould of, yeah, about 4 centimeters in thickness, so extremely thick. But I'm pretty pleased with that. You know, I reckon that I could still use that, and then just possibly where those air bubbles are, just go back in with the clay afterwards and just smooth that out. But even right down into the nose there, that seems pretty good to me. So although not a complete success, you can see we have achieved a pretty good mould. Now what it does recommend is that you actually leave this mould for 24 hours before you actually use it. That's probably so the actual silicone on the inside here, obviously it hasn't been aired because that was right next to the head there, so that's probably just a case of letting that dry out a little bit. So that's exactly what I will do. I'll leave it there for about 24 hours and then we'll come back and we'll actually make a cast using some air drying clay. Well, the mould has dried for a further 24 hours, and as you can see, there is the beautiful, amazing detail. Yes, I know I've got those air bubbles near where the eye meets the nose, but I'm not going to worry too much about that at the moment. So I'm just going to fill this one with some air drying clay. Now, because this mould is like 3 times thicker than what I'm normally used to working, then we may have a little bit of problem getting the clay out, but we will see. So I'm just going to really press that down right deep into that nose. The great thing I love about this is because it is slightly transparent, you can get a hint of whether the clay has gone right to the bottom there of his nose, and it pretty much has. So I'm just going to keep on pressing this clay in, and then I'll be back when I'm done. Okay, all the clay is now in place, and as I normally do, I just tuck it back in from the edge just to make it a little bit more cleaner. Okay, so I'm going to flex this one. Hopefully we're going to get this out in one go, but I said it's a really thick mould. So just as I would all my moulds, okay, I'm going to flick that one over. There we go. Wow, look at the detail. Yep, we've got those bits just there and there, but I'm not going to worry too much about those at the moment. So I'm going to see if I can basically clean those up. So I'm just going to pop the mould like so. Okay, and then we're going to see if we can clean that up a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to use a Dresden tool, which is a cake decorating tool. I'm going to just see if I can just smooth out some of these little air bubbles that came in. Okay, so just being very careful. Okay, I'm just going to go in there. Just keep on lifting it up just so we can see. Okay, that one's pretty much rectified that. So it's just a case of just touching that in very, very slowly. Okay. And I have a small pointy one here that I can pop there, and I've just added a little bit of water just to soften the clay just a little bit. Now also those 2 bits on the eyes are a bit more extreme, so I'm going to see if I can actually just take off some of that clay. Okay, see if we can. And the great thing about clay is if it does go wrong, it doesn't matter because we can just start again. Okay, so let's just see if we can take that out. It's a little bit tricky, must say. It's a bit like operating on somebody. So just tease that clay out. Okay, it's nearly there. Come on, that's it. Okay, so now that's a lot smoother there. Again, I'm just going to use a little bit of water and I'm just going to smooth that down with the tool. Okay, so just sculpting that in there. So adding a little bit more water just to soften that clay just a little bit. Okay, we're not obviously going to get perfection here, but it's obviously going to be better than it was. So lead me to this little operation that I have going on here, and I'll be back to show you the results. So there we have it. Okay, we're just going to let him dry off a little bit, but you can see how amazing that detail is. So I'm just going to leave that one to fully dry. I'm going to use that in a project. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with it quite yet, but I may well try to recast the head of Alexander the Great again, see if I can get it without those air bubbles. But like I say, it didn't take me that long to actually rectify, and I don't think it actually looks too bad anyway. Well, this is the very first cast from the very first mould that I ever made using silicone. I know I had problems with the air bubbles where the eyes meet the nose, but will that put me off from making further moulds? No way. I've had loads of fun experimenting this time round. If you like the contents of this video, please click on the like button. Subscribe to my channel if you're new, and why not click on that notifications button as well. This will allow you to be notified of all brand new content that I upload to my YouTube channel. Well, I hope this video has inspired you to have a play with silicone, and until next time, take care, thanks for watching, and happy crafting.